So the BBC spoke to us and said, we need you at Manchester BBC Studios for, it was crazy early, wasn't it? It was like 8 o'clock in the morning. And because we were obviously in Leicester, I thought, well, we'll go the afternoon before, have some dinner, calm ourselves down. We'd memorised the script. You were dressing up as Hope Bear. It was all fine. So we got quite excited. Go and find this nice hotel that the BBC are going to put us up in. Oh my God. It was horrendous. I have never quite walked in a hotel quite like it in my life. It was like some kind of comedy scene. We walked in. Now you can put up with anything, can't you, really?
Yeah, I can put up.
I like my nice hotels.
I was all right.
You was all right.
Yeah.
But even you said...
Even I said, we can't stay there. We can't stay in this room.
So we walked out of Manchester thinking, now what do we do? But we did find somewhere, didn't we, which was a million times better. So they say to you, you need a 2-minute script. So basically when you walk through the lift, that is what you're going to say to the dragons. That was the hardest bit, but I knew it literally word for word. So the next morning we had breakfast, drove to BBC Studios. Now this is the worst bit, isn't it, really, because it was still kind of COVID, wasn't it? They were still doing a bit of social distancing, so you could go back to work, but it was all this social distancing. God, it seems like forever ago, doesn't it? You can't remember what we went through. And they put us in this green room with other people that were already being filmed. They don't tell you where you are in the lineup. I think we were there quite a while.
It was after lunch.
It was, wasn't it? So they don't tell you. You think you're going to go in there. You think you're going to meet the dragons first. Nobody tells you anything. You're going to meet the dragons first. Introduce yourself. Get yourself comfortable. Go through your script 6, 7, 8 times. Cut, take 2, take 3, take 4. Absolutely not. Your time is your time, and that is it. You literally have to press the lift. The doors open. And then there's a guy who is like one of the runners that says, right, you're going to go in this lift now. When those doors shut, that is it. When that light in those lifts and those lift doors open, the dragons will be sat in front of you. You walk to a little red cross on the floor. That's your time, and that's what you need to do. I can honestly say that is one of the scariest things I've ever done in my life, ever.
And you were in there over an hour?
About an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, nearly 2 hours.
So I can remember getting in the lift with you, and the lift is full of cameras, even though you don't see them. Then they say you're being watched, don't they, everywhere. And even the den, it's full of cameras, but you don't see anything, you don't notice anything. It literally is, it's exactly like you see it on TV, isn't it? And the hardest bit was that script. And just before I went into the den, one of the producers said to me, can you take out paragraph 3? But I had memorised it paragraph by paragraph. So when we were in front of the dragons, I did paragraph 1 and 2 easy, and then in my head I needed to run through paragraph 3, and I had this split second of silence while I did it in my head and then carried on, and then it was fine. And then Danny was the bear, and obviously it's very hot in a bear costume, so you had to go, and then I got questioned by the dragons. And do you know what, I know I was in there an hour and 40 minutes, but it didn't seem that long. And they were all lovely, they were all really lovely. They got it. I knew my figures, I knew how many had sold, I knew my turnover, I knew the profit, I knew the gross profit, I knew all of it. We'd literally, that is all we'd done.
Did for a year.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So it was fine, it was okay. And then towards the end of that hour and 40 minutes, when Peter Jones said, I think it'd be great if we all came in on it. I mean, I never expected any of that. And Danny got put in a room, didn't you?
Yeah, you go into a little room, literally a chair, and they came back into me and said, you need to get back in that costume because she's going to get all 5 dragons and you need to be back in there. So I literally jumped in the costume and had to go back in, but it was crazy. And then so you don't meet the dragons before, you don't meet them after. So you go back into your little dressing room, somebody comes along and makes you sign a bit of paperwork, and then you're sent on your way and you sit in the car like someone's just dropped you out of space in your car, like, what is that? Yeah. The biggest adrenaline rush I've ever experienced, ever, to the point where I felt really poorly, didn't I, on the way home. I had to go home and go to bed because I felt drained. I think with everything we've been through, it was an experience I will never ever forget as long as I live. And it's crazy.
Yeah.